In the latest episode of Who's the Toughest Dad, I told you I'd find you. Little Change Boy reacted quickly, pulling out his gun and taking down everyone in the room in just a few shots like an automatic spray. When gang members arrived downstairs, Brian hid under bodies, frantic but precise, taking them out in minutes. She entered the upstairs room where under -20 dose from drugs, nearly revived by a coffee, yet her daughter was missing. At that moment, she spotted her daughter's friend Amanda, passed out from an overdose. Brian mercilessly drove 2 long nails into Marco's skull, then repeatedly connected the power. Then Brian flipped the wall switch. Marco, stubborn as a tyrant, spit at Brian another jolt. Brian had no time to reason with him. Finally, after intense shocks, Marco confessed that Brian's daughter was a top-tier item, set to be auctioned off. For Marco, Brian got a name Patri St. Clair. Other than that, it was a total bust. Marco's pleading face was just too funny. Brian decided to believe him, but Marco still had to go, so he zapped him good. Brian visited her old colleague Lauder like a detective, fully aware of the gang's ties to the police and Lauder's involvement. Without any preamble, she shot Lauder's wife, demanding to know who Patri St. Clair was at once. Then she checked the system and knocked out her former colleague. Brian hit the auction, blending in as a cop based on St. Clair's address, with everything appearing normal. However, Brian was secretly hosting a covert real-life auction, easily taking out St. Clair's goons and slipping into the basement to deal with the waitress. Disguised as a waitress to blend in, she effortlessly knocked out a wide-eyed girl and entered, just in time for the real-life auction, the last item up for auction. Brian's daughter. He threatened the boss, no matter the price, in buying this girl. Successfully auctioning his daughter, Brian was ambushed leaving. He hung from a basement pipe, facing Marco's goons. No hiding, he boldly said he was the last girl's dad. Marco sheepishly admitted shame, a dad of 2 himself. But it was a deal, no returns. Marco quietly arranged his goons to handle them, then sneaked out. As Brian was being choked, he mustered all his strength to pull out the loose screw, kicking off a series of counterattacks. 1 move, 2 moves. Brian took out everyone, and then grabbed the gun to escape, while St. Clair just wanted to chat. An anxious Brian lost patience. After shooting St. Clair in each limb, he revealed the buyer was on a ship by the dock. Brian fired blanks at St. Clair, dashed his daughter, furious Marco, "You're gonna." Brian found the ship, chasing backward. In Hollywood, there are 3 no-nos, Liam Neeson's daughter being one. Check out this tough yet tender agent dad, relentless in saving his daughter. Brian jumped off the bridge, taking out anyone in his way. He stormed from the yacht exterior to the interior, collecting gear on the go clean and slick, no hesitation whatsoever. In the end, he sent everyone except the boss to meet the maker, finally setting eyes on his daughter. She was held hostage by the old boss with a knife. Brian declared, "Love my daughter. Everyone must go." His daughter gazed, tears swelling. Kim cried in her father's arms. Before, unaware of his job, she thought he was too busy. Now, she probably understands. After a 96 hour rescue, Brian brought his daughter home. Next day, he rang the doorbell, like a classic movie scene. For a 17-year-old girl, her idol was right in front of her. Kim was almost fainting with excitement, because that idol had become her mentor. This movie is a reminder for all parents. Don't let your daughters travel abroad solo if they are under 18 unless it's to China. To save his daughter, Brian wiped out a house full of gangsters. What a dad. They hailed from Albania, trafficking women in Paris. To find his daughter, Brian wiped out the leader Marco. But things weren't so simple. Our buddy Marco had a loving gangster dad and brother too. They 2 poor stars and moons on their right hands. Proper gangsters swore to avenge his son. These guys went straight to kidnapping Paris Deputy Director of National Security, Lauder. Brian was in for big trouble against these thugs. They went to the Albania Intelligence Bureau and found Brian in Istanbul then. What followed was a showdown between fathers, one trying to save his daughter, the other seeking revenge. Brian and his daughter's bond grew stronger. To teach his daughter to drive, Brian polished the car and picked her up. They sparked a love story. Speaking of which, Kane's boyfriend was kinda cute enough to remind you of the future royal hunk, Kay Stutton. Rina didn't tell her daughter the boyfriend's address, but tracked him by her phone. Truly resourceful. She just aimed to teach her daughter to drive, but the doting dad ended up calling his buddy Sam post-practice, asking for a background check on her boyfriend. He was genuinely worried for his daughter's safety. Back at his ex-wife's, he found her in tears, having a tiff with her new hubby, Stuart. Brian said he'll go to Istanbul for a business trip. He suggested you and Kame join for a change if possible. The ex neither accepted nor refused, saying she'd discuss it with Kame. Brian smoothly wrapped up his escort job in Istanbul and got paid. At that moment, his beloved daughter appeared alongside his ex, Rina, checking into a fabulous hotel to unwind for a few days before heading. Brian was staying next door to the mother-daughter duo, eager to tidy up his gear after the bodyguard gig to bond with his dad and daughter. Then chatted on the boat, touching on her boyfriend Jamie. She was deeply in love, beyond recall. After fireworks, they returned to the hotel, unaware of looming danger next morning. Danger was on the horizon. The Albanian gangsters were almost in the city, and their every move in the hotel lobby caught the watchful Brian's attention. The old man wasn't just out for revenge on Brian, he wanted to capture the whole family alive. Brian's father was at the ex-wife's house, and the old man bluntly stated he aimed to capture the whole family.